Hey, what's up? So listen, we got to get this out of the way. Prompting is fundamentally changing, right? And if you've been watching videos on AI for a little bit of time now, you've kind of seen these signs and you might be getting a little bit confused, especially if you're fairly new to using AI and messing around with some of these large language models, because a lot of the prompts that you've been hearing about in the last just couple months or even in the last several weeks are starting to feel a little bit outdated. Even things that like I've talked about on this channel just a couple months ago are outdated. And the big thing that we have to kind of understand here is this. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to kind of go over this right now. So come on with me over here. So first and foremost, prompting is not dead, right? But the models are getting better. And the way that we work with them is fundamentally changing. I really don't prompt the same way that I used to just literally a few weeks ago. To be honest with you, a lot of the time, I'm not sitting there carefully typing out some perfect prompt. What I'm primarily doing now is I'm dictating, right? I can talk through exactly what I want using tools like Whisperflow and just getting my thoughts out to AI quicker. But there's a really important part, right? Talking to AI casually does not mean being vague. AI still needs direction. You still need to know how to guide it, right? You still need to know what information to give it. You still need to know how to help the AI understand the kind of answer that you're actually really looking for. And that's what this video is all about. I'm gonna show you a simple method that's going to allow you to get answers that are more useful, they're more specific, they're going to just be more helpful to what you actually wanted to actually see. And we're going to talk about why it works, how it works, when to use it, and what to use it for, which is extremely important. And that's why I want to kind of go over it over here. So let's go back to my screen here. And real quick, I'm also going to show you exactly how to do this with AI helping you write this, so you don't have to figure it all out by yourself. And I'm going to include all that information in the Notion doc, which will be linked in the description below. Other than that, let me get over to share my screen now. So here's a mistake that a lot of people make. They give AI something and say something like, make this better, or improve this, or what do you think? Now, the prompt is not terrible, right? It's the new models, they're gonna still be able to do something with them, but the problem is that the AI has to kind of guess what better actually means to you. Like better can mean a lot of things. I mean, it could mean shorter, it can mean more detailed, more professional, more casual, more persuasive, more accurate, beginner friendly. And if you don't define that, the AI is gonna kind of fill in the blanks for you, right? And sometimes it's gonna guess correctly, but sometimes it's gonna give you that generic AI answer that sounds like polished garbage that's not really what you wanted, right? So this is where the technique comes in, and I call it the success criteria prompting. So instead of just saying, make this idea better, you give AI the criteria for what better actually means to you. And for example, you might say something along the lines of like, make this better using this success criteria, or make it clear for a beginner. Remove generic advice, give examples, explain why you said that. And those small changes, that's what actually kind of gives AI a better target of what to actually look for. It's no longer just kind of improving something in a vague way that you might have told it, right? So it's improving to a better standard, and that's the whole point of the success criteria prompting. You're telling AI what success looks like before it starts answering you. Success criteria prompting is simple. It means you tell AI what a successful answer should include before it answers. You're not just giving it the task, you're giving it the actual standard. So a success criterion is just one thing that makes the answer good. The answer should be beginner friendly. That's a success criterion. The answer should include specific examples is also another success criterion that you can use. And some more could be, the answer should not make unsupported claims, or the answer should explain the trade-offs is another example. And these are just ways of telling AI what kind of answer that you're actually really looking for, that you actually really want. And honestly, this is why I like to call it success criteria prompting. The point is that you don't have to memorize some weird prompt formula. The point is to tell AI what success actually looks like, what you're looking for. So a simple way to think about it is like this. Don't just give AI the assignment. Give AI the grading sheet, right? The grading sheet is what helps the AI understand what kind of an answer that it should be aiming for. So hopefully that's clear. So another word for this is a rubric. And I know that word sounds like very schoolish, like something my wife would use as a school teacher, because when people hear rubric, that's usually what they think of, a teacher grading an essay. But for AI, a rubric is just a quality checklist So just keep that in mind. It's a quality checklist. Very, very important. So what exactly does the rubric do? The rubric, it tells the AI what a good answer should do, what it should avoid, what matters the most, and how the answer should be judged. It doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes a rubric is just 5 or 6 simple things that the answer should do well. Think of it like this. Imagine you hire someone to design a room in your house and you say, make it look nice. That's way too vague, right? Nobody's gonna know, because nice is according to who? According to what? What does nice actually mean to you? I mean, nice could mean modern, cozy, expensive, simple, minimal, or something totally different. But if you say, I want the room to feel bright, simple, easy to clean, family friendly, not too expensive. Well, now that person, that designer, has something to aim at. AI works the same way. So if we think about this from AI, if you say something like, give me a better idea, well, AI has to guess. But if you say, give me ideas that are practical, that are beginner friendly, easy to demonstrate, useful, immediate, not generic. Now AI knows what kind of answer you're looking for. That's the power of using a rubric. Now this all fits into the bigger picture of prompting and context engineering. See, prompt engineering is how you ask. Context engineering is the information, the constraints, and direction that you give the AI so it does the job well. Now, success criteria prompting, well, that kind of sits right in the middle. You're giving the AI context about what quality means for this specific task. You're basically saying, this is the task, but this is also how I want you to judge this answer. Now, you might also hear this called rubric guided prompting or criteria guided prompting. These are more technical ways of saying, use these standards while answering. And when you ask AI to create the rubric for you, that connects to something called meta prompting. Now, meta prompting just means you're using AI to help actually create or improve the prompt itself. So instead of trying to be perfect at prompting and get it all right, you can just ask AI to help you build the actual prompt. And this becomes really, really helpful because most people don't know exactly what criteria they need at the beginning of their prompt. See, most people they kind of know that they want a better answer, so you can just use AI to actually help you define what better actually means. And this is one of the easiest ways to improve your prompts without having to actually become a prompt engineering expert or a context engineering expert. And the thing is, you do not need this for every prompt, but it's really, really useful when the task is subjective, creative, strategic, or important. Basically, use it for anything where good can actually mean a lot of different things, like we've kind of gone over. Like using it for things like writing, editing, brainstorming, business ideas, emails, scripts, you name it, right? Content strategies, decision making. These are all the kind of tasks where AI can go in a lot of different directions. So the success criteria is what really helps narrow that direction significantly. You know, for example, if I ask AI, give me video ideas, that might be okay, but it's broad, right? It's who knows what it's going to tell me to do, right? A better version would be, give me video ideas using these success criteria. Beginner friendly, immediately useful, not generic, easy to demonstrate on screen, strong enough for a clickable title, helpful enough for people who use AI but are not getting the best results yet. And that's much better because now AI is not just brainstorming, it's brainstorming with a target. And that's usually where the better answers are going to definitely come from. But there's a big part that people skip, and that is that you should not use this for everything. If you overuse it, it can make simple tasks a lot more complicated than they really need to be. For instance, you probably don't need a success criteria prompt for a quick definition, a simple translation, a sentence rewrite, or a list or something like that, right? If I just want to know what a word means, I do not need to use a full rubric, right? If I want AI to rewrite one sentence, I probably don't need an entire scoring system, right? So that will be kind of a waste of your time, and that's what we want to prevent. So again, kind of going back to what I said in the beginning, if you're still here with me, is that you need to know when, how, what, and how to use these prompts and when to use them, when they're going to be most beneficial for you. So hopefully this is starting to make sense, and we're going to kind of go into this in a little bit more detail as we continue. Use it when the answers could go in multiple directions. Use it when you've been getting answers that are too vague, they're too generic, or they're too long, or they're too AI, right? This is where the technique is going to become very, very useful for you, and you're gonna see it. Now, with all that being said, there is one important warning. Success criteria prompting can make answers better, but it doesn't automatically make the answers true. And that's a really big difference. A rubric can help AI become more specific or stay on track, explain trade-offs, avoid vague advice, things like that. But if you're asking about medical information, legal information, financial advice, research, or anything factual, you still need to include criteria for accuracy. Otherwise, you might get an answer that's well organized, looks right, but is completely wrong. So for factual topics, you could add something like, if you make a factual claim, cite a reliable source. If you're unsure, say so. Do not invent statistics, studies, dates, or expert consensus, and separate facts from opinions or recommendations. And that makes the rubric stronger. But even then, you still have to use judgment. The rubric is going to help the AI know what kind of answer you want, while fact checking helps you know whether the answer is actually true or not. Those are related, but they're not the same thing. Success criteria prompting helps AI aim better. Verification helps you check whether it actually hits the target. And this gets even stronger when you combine it with an actual role. A role gives AI a lens, and success criteria gives AI a scorecard. The role tells AI what perspective to use, while the criteria tell it how to judge the answer. For example, instead of saying, what do you think of this idea? You could say, you're my business partner. Your success depends on my success. Then you give it the criteria that you want it to be able to use. I mean, you could also say, evaluate this idea using these success criteria. Is this useful to my audience? Would a beginner understand it? Is it different from common advice? Can I demonstrate it clearly? What would make this fail? What should I change before moving forward? That's much better now because now the AI has a role and a standard. The role says, look at this like a business partner. And the criteria say, judge it by these specific things. And that's a very different thing from just saying, act as an expert and give me feedback. The role matters, but the rubric is what keeps the answer useful and helpful to you, which is what you ultimately want. It's what I want. I know it's what you want. So a simple formula is role plus success criteria plus task. For example, you could say you're a YouTube strategist for beginners at AI educational content. Then you could ask it to evaluate a video idea using criteria like clear promise, beginner-friendly explanation, practical use case, strong before and after demo, low risk of confusing the audience, and a clear reason that somebody would click. That's actually the kind of prompt that usually gives you much better feedback. It gives the model a perspective, it gives it a clear way to judge the actual work, and that's usually much stronger than just asking, is this good or what are your thoughts? And here's the easiest part. You don't even have to create the rubric yourself. You can simply ask AI to create it for you. That's the meta prompting part. You are using AI to help you build the instructions before you ask for the final answer. And this is really useful because sometimes you know what it is that you want, but you don't know the best way to describe the criteria that you're looking for, right? So again, this will be in the Notion document, but here's a simple prompt that you could save. I want to use AI for this task. Describe the task. Create a simple rubric I can use to judge whether the answer is good. Include the main success criteria and what the answer should avoid. And a revised version of my prompt that includes the rubric. And that's probably like the easiest version. So a slightly better version would be, before answering, help me define what a good answer should look like. Create a simple checklist or rubric for this task. Then rewrite my prompt so the AI follows that rubric when answering. And if you want to add a role to that, you could just simply add, you are my prompt strategist. I want to use AI for this task. Then just ask it to create a simple success criteria rubric that includes what a great answer should include, what the answer should avoid, any accuracy rules, and when the rubric would be overkill, and a revised version of your prompt. And this is a part that I really want you to remember, right? You do not have to be amazing at prompting from the start. You can ask AI to help you build the prompt. And then once you get the rubric, you can either use it in the same chat or copy it to another chat. That makes this whole thing, this whole method really, really portable. You can use it for writing, you can use it for planning, strategy, brainstorming, again, research, almost anything else where, quality is going to matter. For example, let's say your prompt is, help me write a better email. That might work, but the AI doesn't know what better means, right? So first you could ask, create a simple rubric for what would make this email effective. And the rubric might include a clear subject line, a friendly tone, specific request, not too much fluff, easy way for the reader to respond, then your improved prompt becomes that much stronger. You could say, help me rewrite this email using these success criteria. Make the purpose clear. Keep the tone friendly and professional. Make the request specific. Remove unnecessary wording and make it easy for the reader to respond. Again, that's going to give you a much better result than just saying, make this email better, because now AI knows what that version of better means for you. So the big idea is simple. Do not just ask AI for a better answer. Tell AI what better means. And that's success criteria prompting. Use it when the task is creative, subjective, strategic, or important. Skip it when the task is simple. Add accuracy rules when the task involves facts. And when you don't know what the rubric should be, use meta prompting and ask AI to create the rubric for you. That way, you don't have to build the whole thing from scratch. So again, here's the prompt. I want to use AI for this task. Describe the task. Create a simple rubric I can use to judge whether the answer is good. Include the main success criteria, what the answer should avoid, and a revised version of my prompt that includes the rubric. So the next time you feel like AI is giving you generic answers, try this. Don't just say, make this better. Say, here is what better means. And that one change can make your AI answers much more useful. It gives the model a clearer target, and it gives you a better way to judge the answer. And once you learn how to use it, you can carry it to almost anything that you do with AI. And that's why I wanted to share this, because it's not just about the prompt. It's not just about the technique or whatever it might be. It's how do you use these things? Why do I use these? When should I use these? And what do I use it for? And that's what we're gonna be going over in the next videos that are coming out and all that kind of stuff. So if that's interesting to you, and that's something that you want to learn more about, because it is very important in how things are progressing with AI, then make sure you subscribe, because I got a lot of content coming out that's going to really go over this and really explain this. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was useful. If it is, please let me know in the comments how it works out for you. Other than that, this is Craig, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.